the reports coming out that the Big Ten has no timetable of a response tells David and I something. And as you know, David and I have that pipeline to God. At least David does. When I saw Michigan's letter last night, which was, of course, released after 6 o'clock, I thought it was written by a third grader. I thought it was written on a ground round placemat with crayons. It was laughable. There was no evidence. There was not even a denial of wrongdoing. And it was just a collection of, ridiculous talking points, including we scored points the last 2 weeks. So I said, okay, that's not good. But today I woke up feeling different. And I talked to David about this. And I said, David, here's how I want to open the show. Michigan fan, I think you're 24 hours, a little over, for maybe skating. Because I can't speak to what Tony Petitti is going to do, the Big Ten commissioner. But by the fact there has not even been a response, by the fact that he ain't going to be in Dallas today for the CFP, he's going to stay at the office. This is going to be very simple. Rico put it best. Tomorrow morning is D-Day. If Petitti does not rule with an iron fist tomorrow by breakfast, you're skating. Now, that has nothing to do with that's right or wrong. I want to know if confidence is growing in Wolverine land.
And see, I would say this. You're skating by means nothing will happen this season. It'll be an after season, over the summer type of thing. If you're a Michigan fan, you don't care. Handle your business. Do whatever you need to do, Tony, and let us know what your decision is. You won't fight it. You'll do whatever, especially if you walk away with the national title and you don't care. Whatever.
But Petitti will lose his job.
Yeah.
That's my other conclusion. See, this is where, and I said this on yesterday's show, and I want to reiterate it, this is where Wojo will end up being right. If Petitti was going to take it to this level, have the coaches speak, have the ADs speak, go to the presidents, there's nothing in Michigan's letter. Nothing. That would sway me. Mm-mm. So what else is?
Oh, no. This letter was the most condescending letter that was out there. Like, well, we know you're trying to do your job, but you're really not doing your job because you don't know the rules. Here are the rules for you. As a matter of fact, let us help you do your job. Oh, and by the way, we scored more points since we got rid of Stallings than we did before he was here.
Right. It was written by a third grader. So I just wondered. And David, I know you and I are like-minded on this. Look, I've said it. It's Thursday of a game week. I don't think it's fair for the Big Ten to wait until tomorrow or play some reindeer games or like, hey, here's your piece of papers, you get on the plane. That ain't right either.
Well, but it could be who's pettier. Okay, you want to send me this condescending letter? What if I just tell you?
Right, well.
What if I go full Notre Dame AD and hand you a letter as you're walking out on the field?
And again, I don't like dealing in pettiness. I really think, having woken up today and there is nothing in the water, there is no rumors, there is...
Wait, there's more.
Do you want...
Adam Rittenberg. While we wait, although Big Ten has considered a suspension for Michigan coach Jim Harbaugh, it is considering a range of possibilities, including a significant fine, sources have said. Public reprimands fines are common penalties under the Big Ten sportsmanship policy.
What does that mean?
He gets fined.
He gets fined.
Yeah.
It looks like that may happen.
And Tony Petitti will lose his job.
He gets fined. The school will pay for it. And it's, why did you waste our time?
There it is. And then I will actually agree with Michigan fans, because what I would be upset about is you allowed it to get to this level. You allowed this to turn into an election recount, only to then dovetail out with weak sauce and levy a fine.
See, at that point, I would need Michigan to go ahead and beat Iowa. And I wouldn't watch the game because you're going to beat Iowa in the Big Ten championship game. I want to watch the podium ceremony.
Yes. I want Petitti handing that trophy to Harbaugh, and then Harbaugh hits him with it. I mean, the reality is Petitti's going to look like a fool. if that's what happens.
But this is why I believe nothing happens. Because I think in the end, Petitti's probably only possibly doing a fine so he can say, I did something.
Yeah, but that would never satiate the 13 other member institutions.
Agreed.
Right.
And that's how you lose your job and again, that would be a win for U of M. Getting Petitti out of here, that'd be a win.
Yeah, that would be your biggest win of the season.
Yes.
Not UNLV. This.
So the fact that you're hearing some of these mealy-mouthed reports today about, well, there's no timetable, or, well, they could punt the decision. This has already dragged on way too long. To then now, David, with this Rittenberg piece of a fine, and you're like, all right, hey, listen. It's not up to me. And I've never understood the Harbaugh obsession. But if we were going to make this a thing, then you got to go and you got to punish them and you got to go hit them. If you end up just fining them, you have basically told the other 13 member institutions you don't matter. You have shown to be a commissioner who cannot handle the bright lights. You mishandled this. And it would show maybe you overplayed your hand. But I actually think Michigan fans should be feeling more confident today.
I think as the hour gets closer and closer to noon Friday, that's when you should say,
yeah,
nothing. Like right now, you're wondering if you're going to get that late Thursday news drop. Okay, we came up with it, and here it is around 5 o'clock, almost like the trade deadline.
So what happens with the national narrative? See, that's the thing. You're not saying the things that Feinbaum or Stephen A., et cetera, are saying. I'm not.
According to some listeners, that's what we're thinking now.
That's reading my mind.
Right.
I'm making a point. What happens nationally?
Nationally, you realize you're going to be a joke. People are going to talk about you. Depending on what Michigan does for the rest of the season, some people will put the asterisk next to their season and say they cheated. You're going to hear that. Whether it's proven or not, Michigan fans, accept it. People are going to call you cheaters. Not everybody's a Wolverine fan. Not everybody's a part of Wolverine Nation. You'll be humiliated. You're going to be on the talking heads of Stephen A. Smith, but other than that, you don't care. You're playing Penn State. Your coach is there. He's going to have to pay a fine that he'll never pay because I'm not paying that. If you guys want that fine paid, Santa, Ward, you handle that.
And again, what's the fine going to be? Give me a break. It's not like he's going to drop a hammer and fine a guy $10 million. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, by Zingerman's coupon.
Right. That sounds right, honestly. Fines are the dumbest thing in sports. They don't really matter. Right. Like when the Houston Astros got fined like $5 million. Who cares?
Where's the money go?
They said, who cares?
Right, but I won a World Series. Okay, best $5 million I paid for. So that's where it's going. Nationally, yeah, you're going to be looked at. You'll become the New England Patriots, where you're winning, and the Patriots fans said, no, it was because we were a great team. Everybody else said, well, it's because you played outside the rules, and that's why. That's what's going to happen.
So I'd like to know. I think if I were Wolverine, my confidence would be rising today. I'd have a little more pep in my step. Because if you're going to hand over a letter written in crayon, I was really shocked that the best and brightest minds that Michigan could get together, that's what they produced. I go, that's a laugher. They don't even try to deny what they did. And the rationale was third grade. I go, well, that might not end well. But by the fact we're sitting here today and you're starting
Rule 32.9.7, I'm rubber, you're glue.
That's kind of what it was. But the fact that Petitti hasn't said anything, and now you're getting these little tidbits from people like Rittenberg. I really wonder, did Petitti overplay his hand? I mean, to me, the only reason if I'm Michigan I would have come out with a letter like that last night is if I knew I had some real problems. Because they didn't even try to fight for themselves. It was more just like, well, you can't do this to us. Our dad owns the conference.
Well, it wasn't in that and the fact that, we already have legal stuff set up. We got a judge on standby. We're going to do all of this stuff. It led me to believe, they knew. Innocent people don't react this way. Innocent people are like, okay, show me what you got. But when you got to have all these contingency plans, it means you felt like there was going to be something. Now, I think for Petitti, he's probably thinking, guys, it wasn't supposed to be this big of a deal, okay?
Yeah, but
we've turned it into World War III, and Mike, it's never going to end the way people think.
If it's a slap on the wrist for Michigan, and again, right and real are two different things. I don't care. I mean, I'll never agree with it. It doesn't matter. The point I'm making is he's gone. He will lose the will of the other 13 institutions. He's gone. And it sets a terrible precedent. But none of that matters if you're a Michigan fan. You want to play for it all. I'm saying for the rest of the free world, that's going to set a terrible precedent. Because now what you'll be able to go back to is, well, Michigan wrote a letter on a placemat from Chuck E. Cheese and got out of it.
Well, no, here's what's going to happen. And you know it, Mike. Next year, something will happen and Michigan will flip roles. And they will want this school buried. And it's like, well, wait, when it was you came up with all these reasons why it shouldn't be. There's no consistency. And I think that's what's the most frustrating thing is that the Big Ten just kind of looks like whoever screams the loudest wins instead of just actual justice for rules. And you broke this rule. The punishment was never going to be death penalty. Never asked for that.
No, and no one has said that here.
This punishment should not have been, I said at the most, like 3 games. And you could have been done with it. But instead, it's escalated to this, that the ending of this story will never match up the hype and the momentum. Plain and simple. Thanos won't snap his fingers.
Well, which means Petitti's a one and done.
I think we already know that.
He's a one and done. But David's getting pretty confident. I happen to agree with David here. I think Rico's on board today. A little bit of a weird day. Because if that letter got sent to a commissioner with teeth, he would have wiped his boo-boo with it and sent it back.
He has everything he needs already. It would have been something today.
I'm with
now.
You. I'm with you. David, I'm with you. What is there to review? Michigan presented nothing. I'm like, you know what? Maybe Petitti is just toast. All right, we'll get to the callers. I don't want to go way over time. We'll get to you guys next. 97.1.